my name is Mallory. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Graceful Pilates. Today's video is a full body intermediate or level 1.5 reformer Pilates class. I am on a leg rope 2x balance body, so keep that in mind when I am cueing springs today. The props today are going to be a sitting box slight. That's why I have it hooked over the shoulder block, as well as 2-pound dumbbells. Option to do the workout without any dumbbells or heavier dumbbells if that's what you have. You decide. To start, I have 2 reds and a blue on. Option to do 2 reds and a green if you want it heavier. Or if you want it lighter, you can do 2 reds and yellow. We're going to start with footwork sitting on the box, because the whole exercise, the whole class today is going to have the box in some variation. And doing footwork on the box means that we're really challenging that spinal alignment and that transverse and rectus abdominis, as well as, the deep core. So starting with the toes on hip distance apart, meaning I could put a fist in between my knees, sitting nice and tall, lifting those heels up. So toes are on, meaning we're working the quads, lifting the heels up, trying to keep them lifted. We'll also work those calves. Starting with arms nice and long, making number 11s, palms facing each other internally. Inhaling to prepare. On the exhale, pressing out through the balls of the toes, lifting overhead, working those deltoids in the shoulders, then going back to 11s as bringing the box or the carriage back in. Then pressing out, arms go overhead, and then back to 11s as you pull the carriage back in. Good, go at your own pace. Really challenging that spinal alignment, that deep core, those legs, and the upper body. Just 2 more. Trying not to let those knees flare out. 1 more. Okay, now starting with number 11s on this next one, going to make T-arms instead as you press out with that carriage, pulling in back to number 11s with that carriage. Good, breathing through it. Now working on those triceps and those biceps, not just those deltoids. 11s. 2 T-arms as you press out and then pull in back to 11s. Just 2 more. Try to keep those heels high. Good. 1 more. Good. Back to number 11s as you pull in. For this next one, it's going to be a one-handed row with an oblique twist, alternating each time. So, starting on the right-hand side. Press out, adding row for those legs, oblique twist out past the frame. Back to 11s with that arm, then opposite side. Now the left hand, oblique twist, one-handed row, and alternate. Breathing through it, really challenging those obliques with the twist out. One more set on each side, and then you're done with the warm-up. Good. All the way back in. Weights are off to the side. We're already done with the weights. That was just for the warm-up. Hinging forward for a nice stretch. Okay, changing the springs. So I have 2 reds and a blue. Option to remove both reds or leaving 1 red. I'm gonna leave 1 blue, which is a little medium spring. Otherwise you can have a red spring on. Now pressing the carriage out to go into the well. Facing that foot bar. I'm going to start with single leg footwork, facing forward on that carriage. Again, I have 1 blue, option to do 1 red. Option to go again to short box if you want it to be spicier. Otherwise, have 1 box on long. Starting with the left foot on, toes pointing down into the floor, right foot down. Micro bend in that right leg. Option to grab that foot bar if you need more support. Otherwise, have hands out by your sides bent or out long. Another option. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, hinging forward and pressing out. Single leg press. Pausing at the bottom, then carefully lifting up. If you're taller, you might want to go to the short box. Again, option to grab that foot bar. Trying to barely touch it. Squeezing the glute at the top, hinging forward at the hips, the upper torso as you go down. Halfway there. Working those glutes, those hamstrings. Hinging forward as you go down to really target those hamstrings instead of those quads. Just 4 more. Last 2. Last 1. Lifting all the way up, pulling all the way back in before lowering that left foot down. Now, as a stretch in between each set, go into a calf raise. So lifting up those heels, holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower on down. Great, going on to the opposite side. Now opposite foot, so now onto the right foot. Going on to the middle of the box, toes pointing down. Micro bend in that left knee. Again, at any point, grabbing the foot bar if you need more support. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, pressing out with that right foot, hinging forward at the hips, the upper torso as you go down. Then carefully lifting back up. You might notice one side is stronger than the other. Hinging forward as you go down. Breathing through it. Trying to keep your foot that's on the box nice and still, not letting it move like I just did. Lifting up, squeezing the glute at the top. Hinging forward at the hips, the upper torso as you go down. Halfway there already. Going at your own pace. Trying to pause at the bottom. 4 more. If you can, have your arms by your side if you feel more comfortable. And last one. All the way up. Bring the carriage all the way in, leaving your space for your legs on the floor before placing that left foot down. Good. Doing that calf raise again. Break up the movement for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now onto single leg press on the box again. Option again, if you need more range of motion, to have it on the short box. I have it on the long box. Starting facing away and still standing in the middle of the carriage in between the springs. I still have one blue on. I'm going to place my foot on the front corner of that box. Once you're ready, left foot on, right foot, micro bend on that standing knee. Press out, single leg press, parallel foot toes facing forward on the front edge of the box. If it feels better, of course, option to have your hands behind your head for a spicier workout. Option to keep your hands by your side, or if you need more support, arms long in front of you. Halfway there. Just 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. Finish that last 1. Good. Carefully coming all the way in, lowering that leg down, giving yourself a moment. We're still staying on this side. We're going to add a layer. Optional oblique twist as the leg is all extended, twisting arms behind your head to the footboard, or option to focus just on the single leg press down. So once you're ready, left foot goes back, parallel foot, whole foot flush on the front corner of that box. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, either have hands by your head out long, or if you're trying to do that added layer, arms behind your head and interlaced or barely touching, you decide. Try keeping those elbows nice and wide. Extend with that left leg, oblique twist to that foot bar, and then release back up. Press out, oblique twist to the foot bar, back to center, and back up. Press out, oblique twist, back to center, lift back up. Good. Press out, oblique twist, back up. At your own pace. 1 more. Press out, oblique twist, back to center. Good. On to the other side. So, standing in that well, now facing away on the other side so that the right side is closer to the box. Once you're ready, have a micro bend in that left knee now. Right foot goes flush, parallel feet on the front edge of that box. Once you are ready, oh, I'm sweating. Arms can be by your side, long, or you can grab with one hand that foot bar, whatever you need. You decide. Once you're ready, single leg press on that right foot. Micro bend in that standing knee. Breathing through it. Try to stay at your head. Again, we're working those glutes and those hamstrings. Also using the outer thigh, those abductors. Try to keep that whole foot on. Equal weight on your heel, big toe, and little toe, really pressing firm. More than halfway. Just 4 more. Last 2. And last 1. Carefully lifting all the way back up, not letting the carriage slam back in because you're still in the well. Take a moment. Whew. Once you're ready, placing that right foot, again, parallel in the middle of that front middle of that box, whole foot flush on, micro bend in that left knee. Again, hands can be out long by your sides, bent, grabbing the foot bar if you are adding that layer, hands interlaced behind your head, maybe you're just fingertips touching. Inhale to prepare. Single leg press out, extend, oblique twist to the foot bar, back to center, pulling back in. Press out, oblique twist to the foot bar, pull back in. Good, you're already halfway there. Last two. Press out, oblique twist, back to center, pull back in. Last one. Press out, oblique twist, back to center, pull back in. Good job. All right, getting out of that wall 1 foot at a time. Keeping that one blue on, option again, going into some upper body to go to one red. So, couple of layers here for this next one. You're gonna sit on your box, adjust to where you feel tension. We're gonna be on the long loops. Keep that in mind, on the long loops, not the short loops. So keep that in mind. You might wanna sit forward or sit back, but giving yourself some space to roll down. Option to have both of your feet planted on that headrest, sitting up nice and tall to start. We're gonna work that practice, or we're gonna work just the biceps to start. So option for this first one if you would like to go to those short loops, but then we are, for the next move, going to go to those short loops. So once you're ready, arms start out long, palms facing up. Option to keep both feet parallel on that headrest. Option to have 1 foot in tabletop to really challenge those inner thighs and quads to hold you up in your tabletop position. Or option to have both legs in tabletop, legs glued together, toes to that ceiling. You decide. Once you're ready, arms start out long, curl up to 90 face framing, palms facing you, then full extension back out. Again, first layer, both feet press parallel on the headrest. Option 2, 1 foot alternates into tabletop, 1 leg at a time. Option 3, both legs in tabletop. Either way, short loop, go to long loop if you need to. Extend those arms, palms face the ceiling, then give me a curl. Already halfway there. Starting at face framing at 90 to really work those biceps, isolating that muscle. I have my legs in tabletop, so I'm hinging slightly back in the upper torso, otherwise you are upright. Last 3, bend, hold. Last 2, on 1, pulse 1 inch up and down for 7, 6, 5, holding tabletop if you can for 3, 2, 1, lowering all the way down. Good job, give yourself a moment. Whew. Okay, for this next one, adding a roll down layer, and then we'll just keep adding and adding and adding more layers. So, going to the long loops, because adding a roll down, of course, can go to the short loops if you would like, but I'm gonna do the long loops. Starting up nice and tall. Again, the 3 layers. Both feet on the headrest. 1 foot in, or 1 leg in tabletop, and then alternating between each set. Or, the spiciest layer, the most challenging layer, will be both legs in tabletop, hips above, or knees above hips the entire time, toes to the ceiling, legs glued together in tabletop the entire time. You decide. Feet down, alternating 1 leg in tabletop between each, or both legs staying in that tabletop. Either way, we're doing a bicep curl to start, adding a roll down, holding that bicep curl to really challenge the rectus and the transverse abdominis as well. So, arms start long, palms to the ceiling. You decide where your legs are and your feet placement. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, curling, holding that curl, rolling all the way down, still holding that curl, lifting back up, holding that curl, then at the very top, all the way back up in that roll up, then releasing that curl. Curling, rolling down, holding that curl, lifting back up, holding that curl still, really challenging those biceps rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis. Then you release that curl. Bicep curl, roll down. Halfway there, lifting up, releasing the curl. Just 3 more. Curling at 90 degrees, rolling down, lifting up, releasing that curl. Just 2 more. Bicep curl, roll down, lifting up, releasing that curl. Just 1 more. Bicep curl, rolling down, holding that curl, lifting up, releasing that curl. If you have the legs up, lower your legs on down. Hinging forward, maybe you grab the frame. Breathing through it. Give yourself a moment. All right, adding another layer. This one, starting again, both feet planted, parallel feet, toes facing forward, or going on to one leg tabletop between each set, or both legs in tabletop, both knees above the hips, legs glued together, toes to the ceiling. You decide, but the layer is going to start with that 90-degree arm bicep curl, rolling down, then the arms are going to go overhead to really work those deltoids and those triceps, and then circling out and away to add that rotator cuff, and then lifting up out of that roll down. So you decide, feet down, 1 foot in tabletop or both feet in tabletop, either way, long loops, palms to the ceiling, option of course to go the short loop if you feel like you can have that range of motion. Once you're ready, both legs, 1 leg or no legs in tabletop, you decide, starting with that curl up, rolling down, arms go overhead, palms facing you, then holding here, going out and around, circling, arms go long, palms to the ceiling, then lifting out of that roll down, curling up, not rolling down, bicep curl, then rolling down, arms go overhead, circle out and around, arms along to the ceiling, then lifting out of that roll down. Good. Bicep curl, rolling down, arms go overhead, circle out and around, rotator cuff, lifting up out of that roll down. Halfway there. Bicep curl, palms face you. Roll down. Extend the arms, palms face you. Circle out and around. Lift out of that roll down. Good, just 2 more. Bicep curl. Roll down. Extend. Arms out and around. Lifting up. 1 more. Bicep curl. In, roll down. And extend. Out and around. Lift out of that. Roll down. Very good job. Figure arm stretch, both feet planted to break up the movement. Right hand over the left, left hooking, palm facing you, looking over the right shoulder. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Head goes center, release. Right hand across chest, left hand hooks in front, palm facing you, looking over left shoulder, sitting nice and tall. Shoulders away from ears. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing. Good. Okay, now onto prone, facing your ropes. So laying on the stomach, I'm keeping the one blue, of course. Option to keep the red, if you have the red. Going into the prone position, making sure upper chest is not on that box. I'm gonna just have my legs above above that foot bar. So the foot bar can stay where it is. Of course, you can move that foot bar first if you don't like how it feels. Once you're ready, starting with pulling straps, work those lats and upper chest if you lift your upper chest. Grabbing for the rope or option to go to short or long loops, you decide. Arms start dangling past the rail, palms facing internally. Inhale to prepare. Once you're ready, pulling straps, palms face that ceiling, lowering back down. If you need more support, you have your legs farther apart. Otherwise, they are nice and together. Again, once I pull straps again, optimally lift up your upper chest. Upper chest lowers as you bring those arms out long in front of you. Good. If you can, another layer is lifting your legs so your quads are not on that box the whole time. Halfway there. Breathing through it. Can you exhale as you curl up your head, neck, and chest? Pulling the straps. Exhaling as you bring the ropes long. And lower head. Just 3 more. Last 2. On 1, can you hold by your side for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hang up those straps for a second. Grabbing the rails nice and long, lowering your legs if you had your quads lifted. For this next one, again, option to have your quads lifted. Now, instead of focusing on the lats, we're going to focus on the pectorals now. So, option to go to short loop, long loop, or if you still want it extra spicy, on the ropes, you decide. Either way, starting with T-arms, palms facing the floor. Once you're ready, you're going to sweep your arms to your side, trying to flip your palms to the ceiling so your pinkies go to your thighs. Once you're ready, sweeping up. Palms, or thumbs to the thighs. And then back down to T-arms, palms back to the floor. Option to curl up your head, neck, and chest. Lifting your quads the entire time. And then back down. Good. Breathing through it. Grab head, neck, and chest. Your arms by your side, quads are lifted. Lower your head, neck, and chest as your arms go back to those T-arms. Sweeping back. Just 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. On 1, can you hold it? Head, neck, and chest lifted. Quads lifted for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering all the way down. Hanging up those loops. Now grabbing for the rail, being mindful where your hands are, not letting them be past or behind your carriage so you don't go pinch. You're going to climb up your rail, grabbing for the pulleys. You want to grab on the sides internally, palms facing each other for some pull-ups. So grabbing those pegs or those pulleys, whatever your machine has. Arms start nice and long. Option to lift your quads if you can. Working those rhomboids, those lats, those traps, as well as those biceps and those forearms with this pull up on the bars at the end. Once you're ready, inhale to prepare. On the exhale, pull up. and release. Breathing through it. Head stays between your arms. Breathing through it. Try to keep those quads lifted. Last two. Last one. Grabbing the rails. All fingers over the edge, making sure that they're in front of the carriage the entire time. Carriage goes back to a full stop. Now, keeping your arms holding the rail. Bend just your right foot, heel to the glute, holding here for a nice quad stretch. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, releasing. Now, left knee bends, trying to get that heel to that opposite glute for a nice quad stretch, holding here. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, try to point those toes if you can, and 1, releasing. Good job. Carefully lifting out of that prone position, 1 foot at a time, meets that floor. Now I know I said the box would be on for the whole time, but for feet and straps, I'm going to take that box off, placing it off to the side. Option to do 2 reds if you want a heavier stretch, 2 reds in the, or a red and a blue if you want a medium stretch, or red and yellow if you want a lighter stretch. Laying in the supine position, trying to imprint your entire spine to the carriage. Both feet start on that foot bar, then 1 foot at a time goes in the tabletop. Long loops on the arches. 1 leg goes into tabletop, then the opposite leg goes into tabletop. Meet me with legs nice and long, trying to get them to 90, but if you notice your lower back is lifting from the imprint position, then keeping your legs slightly more forward. Going into Pilates V, so heels touching, toes externally rotated, arms long by your sides, palms facing down. Once you're ready, you're going to lower, trying to get about 45 degrees to that foot bar, and then lift back up to 90. Legs stay long. Exhale, you lower, inhale as you lift. Breathing through it. This should feel really good. This is a cool down. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Good. Meet me, legs at 45. Now bend your legs past tabletop, trying to get, if you can and you have the movement, knees to armpits, then extend back out to a full froggy, then bend back in. Option to stop at tabletop or bring those knees to your armpits, keeping those heels together, toes externally rotated. Halfway there, just 3 more. Last 2. Finish that last one. Maybe with long legs, feet parallel to the ceiling, ending with leg circles going out at the top, past the frame, lowering down, meeting in the middle, and then lifting straight back up. Trying to keep your back nice and imprinted. Don't let that lower back lift. If it does, make smaller circles. At the top, parting ways, lowering down, meeting in the middle. Just 2 more. Once you're done with that last one, meet me at the bottom, switching directions, going past the frame at the bottom, lifting up, meeting in the middle. Again, lower back should not be lifting. Make smaller circles if you notice your lower back is lifting. Try and keep those feet nice and parallel. Halfway there. One more. Meet me, long legs at the top, trying to tug on those ropes, trying to get those arches to the ceiling, option to pedal or open out into splits, and rocking side to side without falling off that carriage. Really holding, tugging on those ropes so that the stretch goes up the calves, up the hamstrings. Holding here. Or you, again, option to pedal. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Option to do another stretch that feels good, maybe the butterfly, the figure 4, the Peter Pan, the broken Barbie, whatever feels good. Once you're ready, carefully bringing both legs into tabletop, taking off one long loop, picking that long loop up, foot goes on that foot bar, then carefully taking off that other long loop. Great job today. I know my camera angle was different. I really wanted to make sure that you could see me sitting all the way up. Please like, comment, and subscribe what you would like to see next. You have a great day. Thanks. Bye.